guys what it is your girl Cadillac. Yes, I'm Cadillac Dixon. I'm the Draw My Life Prison Wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice, hoping girl to see justice before all fades to black. Yes, it's your girl Cadillac. Anyways, coming through today on it is August the 18th 2023, 2:03 p.m. Yes, so I'm chilling at the park. I wanted, the minute that I seen this video come out yesterday when I was at work, um y'all already know I'm going through it. I am a very transparent person. I do not act like everything's okay if it's not. So I'm going through it right now. I know that I will come out on the other side, but at the moment I am going through it, right? So oh, this is unfortunately gonna keep clicking, but y'all already know that happens. I don't have quite the correct setup yet to do videos and review videos and stuff like that, but you know me, I work with what I got, right? So when I seen this video released yesterday by from the Africa Diaspora News Channel. Yes, and Phil, I love Phil with Africa Diaspora News. He has this interview that he did with Tyrone Muhammad. Oh my gosh. Now, the first time I heard Tyrone Muhammad speak on Africa Diaspora News, I don't know, it was just like a news story where they were saying, they were speaking about the immigrants being taken to Chicago, into basically the hoods of Chicago, and given resources that they're not even giving to the people of Chicago, right? Um, so he was like, look, there are so many, it was this big number. I can't even quote the number, but he will quote it in this, that there's this huge amount of homeless people in Chicago. And that there's a portion of that big, huge amount of homeless people are ex-cons, right? And when he said that, I'm like, oh my gosh. Number one, how you had that many ex-cons in one city? And then number two, how are that many of them homeless? And when he said that, he was like, and I mean, he just shot right for the jugular. He was like, if we don't get what we were supposed to get, or if we're not able to survive upon getting out of prison, unfortunately, we coming back to the community to commit crimes against you. And see, that was the head on the nail. I know for me, I talk about criminal justice reform, I talk about prison reform, and all of this stuff. A vast majority of people don't care about it because they believe it does not affect them. It's a false belief. Prison reform, criminal justice reform affects you. It 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 affects you. You, and me. It affects us all. But the illusion is put out that it only affects the low lives of society. You know, those people that shouldn't have done what they did. You know, those people that, you know, you did the crime, you have to do the time. You know, that type of stuff. It's like you want to separate. But we're in this all together. Your community, you choose where you live. Yes, you can choose that somewhat. Sometimes you have to fall in certain price brackets and you would like to be a part of a different community, but you can't because you ain't got the funds, right? So your choice goes so far, but you can choose your community, but you can't choose everyone that's in your community, right? So you would rather everybody be substantial and self-sustaining and making it in your community. That way they're not looking towards you when they're not making it, right? So if we make sure that returning citizens have what they need to come back and be a viable part of society rather than a detriment to society. If someone gets out of prison, would you rather them get out, go back to their families, get a job, pay bills, be a law-abiding citizen. Like we love to claim, oh, we're law-abiding citizens, so we're way up here and you're down here because you broke the law, so you're down here. Would you rather them come back and be like all of the high exalted law-abiding citizens, or would you rather them get out and come back and commit crimes in that community? What would you rather? Because guess what? They're coming back. They are, most of them. And even in Florida, I talk about this all the time, but nobody seems to care. But Florida, since 2020, the DOC has been to critical capacity. Do y'all even know what that means? That means that there are a certain amount of what y'all like to call inmates, so that you can sit high and look down low on the people. So the inmates, right? There are a certain amount of inmates that they can put inside a prison. So there's only a limited amount of people that you can lock up, right? And once you get to critical capacity, you literally have nowhere else to lock people up. So if people are committing new crimes, though they might want to lock them up, they can't lock. Where do you lock them up? It's so crowded. It's overcrowded. Prisons are overabundant crowded. And the reason that they're overabundant crowded is because they were not being utilized for the reason they should have been utilized for. Prison is for. You are correct. When you do the crime, you do the time. You are very much correct with that. That's what it's for. You commit a crime, you go to prison to pay your dues to society. Each crime is basically a certain amount of money. That's why they bring up charges on you, right? So it's like a transaction. You took out this debt, which this crime is a debt. You took out that debt. And now the charge you have to repay by being incarcerated, right? That is the whole purpose of prison. But you also want to correct so that people are not getting back out of prison and coming back to society and incurring those same debts to society. Because those debts to society are committed against who? Against me, against you, you, everybody in the community. I have been a victim of someone committing a crime. I have. I have been a victim of someone committing a crime. And if it was not their first rodeo with committing crimes, because usually people are not caught the first time they do a crime, right? People also have committed crimes, and because of this non-rehabilitation have gotten back out into society, and then they commit another crime. But had they been rehabilitated, they may not have committed those second rounds of crimes, right? So the more we care about rehabilitation, the more the more our communities are safe. See, we have it different. We think the more that are locked up, the more safe our communities are. And that's not so. Because Florida has an abundance of people locked up. Abundance, a lot, a huge amount. And it's so much till it's to critical capacity. So that means because we have locked so many people up, our communities over time, let's see, the mass incarceration started in what, the 80s to 90s? After this mass has been incarcerated, why is the neighborhoods not safer? They should be safer. Like, honestly, common sense would tell you this. We're locking up a lot of people, then neighborhoods should be safer because we're pretty much getting the bad guys. But see, that's where the problem comes in. Locking people up are not always about getting the bad guys. Locking people up have become getting the conviction. See, getting the conviction, oh gosh, I'm getting off track because I was supposed to review this this story, but I'm off on my own tangent. So let's just flow with this. Maybe I'll review that story in another video, but it spun off of watching it and it basically inspired me. So I will link that video with Africa Diaspora. Sorry if my eyes all over the place, girl, because this is new. I'm used to looking at the screen to record, and I have to get used to on this tablet looking at the camera, right, which is different. And girl, one of my eyes going to bed because I am the legally blind artist. I'm literally legally blind. This eye sees nothing, watercolors, lights, nothing more, right? And all my vision comes out of this eye with a contact. Without a contact, looks like a kaleidoscope, right? So I am the legally blind artist that has been rapping and painting and creating and making and telling my story through poetry, through rap songs, through R&B songs, through picture books, through illustrations, through videos, through whatever means that I can create something to tell my story so that I can give you visuals of what is happening, right? So, back to that. Prison has become, the system has become more of getting the conviction than getting the actual criminal. That is why we need criminal justice reform, and that is why it includes you, because you're in that community. This is, I hate when this keeps doing that. I cut the rate. Really? Now I'm gonna get demonetized. But that was the jam. Ugh. Excuse me, it's hot and it's raining, so I can't let my windows all the way down. But this is why criminal justice reform actually does, and that's what he's saying. His name is, let me get back, I do not want to, Tyrone Muhammad. That's why Tyrone Muhammad is saying that you need to care that this is happening, because though it's not physically happening to your body, the effects of it is going to affect you, or the effects of it is going to affect you. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. Affect and effect, one or the other. One causes the other. The effects of it causes the effect, or the effect of it causes the effect of it. Whatever is going to affect your community. I wish that would stop. I literally have turned that off. So, if we know that it's going to affect our communities, the people are coming back. They're coming back. People are sitting down upon on large chunks of time, serving time. Even the guy that is speaking in this, Tyrone Muhammad, served 21 years. So when the judge sent him away 21 years ago, there was still the knowing that he would be free one day. So in 21 years, you haven't learned life skills. You haven't learned any skills to get a job. You have no job skills. The centuries, not centuries, but the what do you call it? The ages have changed. So what were job skills 21 years ago? Oh, guess who else been in prison for 21 years? Marcello Jackson. Marcello Jackson went to prison 21 years ago. 2002, age 19 going on 20, had a 9-month-old daughter. He went to prison in 2001. So job skills in 2000, I mean sorry, he was wrongfully arrested in 2001, went to prison in 2002. Job skills in 2002, if you came back trying to get a job in this time era in 2023, how far is he going to get with getting a job? And I know we don't care if he get a job or not, right? Because he shouldn't have did what he did, And he shouldn't have. Even one of the comments, I was scrolling through the comments on that video, and someone commented that they don't, Tyrone Muhammad gets into talking about how all the programs were taken out of the prison. They no longer get grants. He had received 2 associate degrees while being incarcerated. And someone said, I don't agree with that, because you did something wrong, right? And you're basically, they're looking at it as though they're getting rewarded for doing something wrong. They're getting associate degrees when us that out here have not done nothing are not getting assistance with education, which kind of is false, because there's a lot of scholarships out there. Maybe I went to school on grants and my daughter went on a scholarship and grant. Baby, I ain't had a dime in my pocket. I had no money for college. When I got to college age, my mama was like, oops, well, we spent that long time ago. You know, times got rough. So there are monies out there for us that have not committed crimes. But when you say that, they should not have the resources. What you do is you turn those 21 years that, in my case, Marcello Jackson have served, and you turn those 21 years that Tyrone Muhammad has served, into not 21 years of bettering themselves, not 21 years of pushing towards something and knowing, hey, I'm not coming back here. I'm going to get out. I'm going to start my business. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to right my wrongs. You take them off the path of that to, dang, I'm just here 21 years. Life just passed me by. Oops, that person, that loved one died. That loved one died. I ain't got nobody to come back home to. I've been gone from my children for 21 years. They don't know who I am. I have nothing left to look forward to. So upon you releasing me in 21 years, look, what's going to make me come back and do right by society? What? What are you doing for those 21 years? But like he said, you're in, you know, everybody believes prison is the worst of 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 society. Which very much two things can be true at the same time. It is, but it's also innocent people in that environment too. And it's also people that have done a lesser crime that is being more severely charged and should have been let go long time ago, but yet they're still serving time. There are those that deserve to be there but have been rehabilitated and can be let out into society, but yet they're still there serving time, right? So two things can be true. So yes, it could be the worst of society, but there can be some real people there. There can be some good people there. There can be some good citizens there. And two things also can be true. There can be some horrible creeps still out in society, because we can't lock them up because it's to capacity with everybody in prison. You know what I'm saying? So just because you out in society don't mean you're innocent. Just because you're in prison doesn't mean you're guilty. So if we took more account that if everybody in society makes it, then more of society would make it. You know, if we took more into being like a part of the rehabilitation. There is somebody, oh my gosh, I'm in so many prison reform and advocate groups, right? And there's someone whose brother was outed by a girlfriend. And even she had another friend, an actual friend that she cared about. See, when we talk about prison, if you don't have that loved one attached to it, you pretty much don't usually care about it, right? But when you have a person that you do care about, and I know that for sure because I didn't care nothing about this system until Marcello went into it. That's the only thing that opened my eyes. That's the only thing that took me aback and made me look. It made me care. It made me get up and try to change it. She had another good friend go to prison, right? Before that, she thought that it was just nothing but creeps. It's just creep people in there, and they deserve whatever they're getting, whatever punishment they're getting, even if they're getting abused at the hands of the guards there. Who cares? These are the worst of society, and they deserve it because they shouldn't have did what they did, right? It wasn't until she had a loved one go into that prison, and that loved one was like, oh my gosh, like telling her all these horror stories about how prison is. And it made her reflect to, how could you be reformed when you come out? What would make you not do what you did again if you're going to prison and not being, you're not really being held accountable. You're just doing time. You're just festering. You're just waiting for the clock to pass. You don't have to better yourself. You just got to wait on the clock. Wait on the clock. That's it. You can wait on the clock in the right way or the wrong way. Either way, when the time is up, you getting out. You getting out. And whatever you festered on for 21 years is what you gonna get out and do, right? And she's like, how can they even have any reform if they're just, and then it made her think about the person that outed her brother. What if this person is not reformed when they get out and they do it to someone else? That's what made her a victim of a crime, of somebody that, yes, should not have done what they did. Made her become an advocate for prison reform and criminal justice reform. See, it's because it made it real to her that, hey, this system actually does affect me. And I really didn't realize it because I know I'm a good person. I know I do all the right things. I know I follow the rule. Baby, you looking at the girl that follows every rule. Every freaking rule. But it still affects me. It affects me, and it affects you too. So, now I done went on and on and on. I came all the way out to this part so that I could review this video, and I just went off on my own tangent, but maybe that's good. It gave me some inspiration on a topic and kept me focused, girl, as much as I could. I wandered off a little bit, but I'll probably do that a little later then. Okay, that means more content is coming. So before I do close this video, I was gonna tell y'all, since we are, y'all keep up with me, how things are going in my life, whatever. So y'all know, yesterday my TikTok turned 11 days old, and I was telling y'all about how people kept telling me, oh, I should go to TikTok because, on YouTube, this is just this growing this channel is going to be very difficult if I want to grow it with the message of breaking my husband's story and, talking about the things that I'm talking about. It's going to be a long, hard road because those are not the topics that are promoted on YouTube. It's just not. For me to grow, I have to basically lose that whole category, X that out, and just kind of do everything else. Do the family vlogs, do the drawings, but leave everything that is my convictions and my beliefs out of it, basically. And then I can grow because it's generic. It's not nothing that no one's going to oppose. Who's going to oppose me taking my granddaughter to Chuck E. Cheese? Which there's somebody out there that will. Because there's always a naysayer to anything you do. No matter what you do, somebody going to not like it. But it would be more able to grow. And I was told that these type of topics do exist on TikTok. People are talking about justice and injustice and the system and reform, things that I love, things that I am passionate about, things that I want to see come about in my generation. I want to see, like I always say, before my before it fades to black. I want to see my husband come home before I lose my vision. Like literally. And God has, last time I went to the eye doctor, the eye surgeon that looked at this eye, he was like, your eye gone now. It's gone to bed. It's gone. You ready for transplantation? And I'm like, that's a whole nother story. Anyway, we are way past those 5 to 7 years that the doctor believed my eye could hold up. So before all that happens, I wanted to see my husband home because I don't know how I could battle for him completely in the dark, or because I don't know how transplantation is gonna go. It could be a miracle. It could. We don't know, right? And what actually scared me from that transplantation is seeing my mama go into an outpatient surgery and never come back. So if that didn't scare me, girl, that'll scare anybody, right? So I literally just want to, but I was told TikTok is the place to do that. But I think I've already been shadow banned on TikTok. So my TikTok was growing pretty good. Every Y'all heard me telling y'all it was like every video I upload within seconds go to 200 something. Then I started trying to research TikTok and finding out that 200 could be bad. That could be like on the low scale of TikTok videos. That if you're constantly getting 200, it could be that the algorithm's just not really supporting you like that. And anybody that does social media knows that if the algorithm does not support you, you are doing an uphill battle. You can do it. You can do it with support of others. You could break any algorithm with the support of others. But without the support of a group, a community, you gotta do it on your own. So you will not it'll be almost impossible. So that's like how I've been building my YouTube without the support of a community. I'm just starting years later to gain maybe I think it's about 5 of the same people that really watch my videos all the time. So I have a community, but it's a small community, which that's good. I am so grateful for that, because think about how it feels to talk to this camera and nobody be on the other side but yourself. You just recording videos and they're rewatching them on your phone. Like, see how that feels, so to have 5 people watching with, actually paying attention and watching these videos feels really good, right? But us 5 can't bring Marcello home. I mean, it has to grow beyond the 5, right? So I was told TikTok was the place to go, right? So I went over there, and continually every video is doing like 250, 240 something, 242, 222. I had one that was 350 something that was basically saying how the the 10 years that I done lost his name. Tory Lanez is doing is not that much. I basically said that because that is an attention grabbing thing. How could 10 years not be that much? 10 years is almost, it feels like a lifetime when you're in the beginning of those 10 years. But let me tell you, those 10 years go by fast as I don't know what. And if my husband only had 10 years, what was that? Oh, those. Why does this keep happening? I thought that was some bee or something. My rubber bands keep popping. I just rebraided the front of my hair. And it feels like something shocks you when that happens. But that's the second time that rubber band has broken. But yeah, so 10 years, my husband was snatched out the house when our daughter was 9 months old. So our daughter would have not even been 10, because 10 doesn't mean 10 unless it's minimum mandatory. Florida has 85%, so 85% of 10 most likely would have been what he's done, what he would have did, like somewhere between 7 to 8 years. Think about if my husband had came home when our daughter was only 7, going on 8, way before I went to college, way before she got out of she she wouldn't even been in middle school. He wouldn't have missed her middle school years, her high school, her prom, her graduation. And I know none of this matters because he shouldn't have did what he did. But if you could be quiet for a moment and stop saying that same cliche, you would hear the story that he did not do what they're accusing him of doing. He didn't do it. The crime didn't even happen. It wasn't even that. That wasn't even what it was. That was chalked up charges. That was a, I'm not letting this go. We're charging you with something. That's what that was. We don't have nothing on you, but we're going to make something because of this. And oh, you want to take this to trial? You're not going to take this plea I'm offering you? All right, bet that. Take it to trial. That's what that was. But before all of that, we still, if you could go to prison, do your time, get back out and still have time with your family, that is a blessing upon a blessing upon a blessing. And that's what I was trying to say. But that video got 350 and it got a lot of hate because people was like, oh, well, if 10 years ain't that much, then you go do 10 years. Like, girl, baby, I've done 21 years wrongfully because I went to prison wrongfully with my husband. Honestly, our daughter went to prison wrongfully with my husband, with her father, for 21 years, and she's the innocent of them all. So don't tell me about let me try doing 10 years, right? But so yesterday I was like watching my daughter's videos because she had a TikTok, and I remember her telling me that, hey, why don't you go on my videos, watch, support? Like, I'm asking for support. I have to give support to others. Can't just get in this thing asking for people to help me with whatever I'm doing and never care. That's a narcissistic relationship. That is a one-way street relationship. Those relationships drain you. So if you're not willing to give, do not ask to receive anything. So I'm like, yeah, let me go on. And now that I got a TikTok, I can support her on TikTok. And because I guess I watched so many of her videos and liked them, and I actually know someone that is a TikToker told me, oh, you got to watch the whole video. I even watched it a couple times before liking, and it looks as though that upon after doing that, the next video I uploaded got 0 views. Then the next video, I'm like, that's a mistake. It hadn't refreshed. Maybe something's wrong. The next video ended up getting 1 view. So let's go check it. Let's go check it. See, I don't know how shadow banning worked, but now it's really, I am not going to put that energy over there if I'm going to be blocked again. I'm tired of this story always being blocked. This is why we can't obtain freedom. This is why we cannot obtain justice, is because we're always silenced. We're silenced. I actually have let me see, can I find that picture that I drew of this? I drew this situation out, right? How they silence us. When we go through injustice, they don't want us to say a word. Just take your injustice, sit your butt down, and be quiet. That is how they want us to deal with our injustice. They don't want us to ask and cry out for anybody that can help us. They don't want us to make that connection. They don't want us to know that somebody else is going through the same injustice that you're going through and that you're not alone. And maybe that person is further down that road and can help you. They don't want us to cross paths and realize that we both can get out of this injustice. So let me see. It's kind of hot. Go to all my photos. Project Reach the World. this, if it's anywhere here. Here it is. Can you see that? I call this blind to injustice. You see how I'm sitting there? I'm bound. I am bound. And look, you see the judge on the side, you see the officer, you see lawyers, prosecutors. They're blindfolded. They can't see what's happening to me right in front of them. They're casually standing. They don't care either. It's not a care in the world because it's happening to me. It's not happening to them. You see that? This situation has bound our family. It has broken and bound our family. It hasn't broken and bound their family. It doesn't affect them. They don't give a darn. The judge in Marcello's case got moved up to Supreme Court judge. The officer in Marcello's case, though it was bogus charges, was believed. Everything he said. His word taken for God's word, right? The prosecutor got a win when they wrongfully convicted Marcello. And Marcello's public defender that worked against him to ensure went above and beyond to ensure Marcello's conviction was secured. He got a win. Because even though he lost, he won. Because it's an illusion that he was on the side of Marcello. He was never on the side of Marcello. He was never there to fight or defend Marcello. He was there playing his role. See? So they don't want us to connect. Me over here in Florida, you maybe in Georgia, maybe in Alabama, maybe in Mississippi. You got a loved one that you're fighting for. They don't want you to see that they want you to think this is a freak accident. This doesn't really happen. Our system is really good. It made a mistake, one or two mistakes out of, that's pretty good, a pretty good track record, which no, they get it wrong plenty of times. Almost every day they're getting it wrong with somebody. I'm not saying every case is wrong. That's why is it so absolute? Just because I'm saying free Marcello, I'm not saying open the prison gates and free darn everybody. Why can't you listen to what I'm actually saying? But I don't know. All right, guys, so I'm going to, I guess it looks like it's going to stop raining. So I'll walk a couple of times around and I'm going to reflect. Like, I like to rewatch my videos and it gives me a different perspective. Y'all see all these sweat beads. And I could be embarrassed, but whatever. All right, guys. Here's your girl Cadillac.